Wait, if
Let me share my screen and then I'll start the stream and should be good to go.
okie dokie.
Let's see. Okay, I'll go ahead and start on my end. I always have to spam refresh. Spam, spam. There we go. How's my mic sound, by the way? Is it too crazy? Or is it normal?
I think it sounds good.
Okay, that's good. Sometimes I have to replug it, so. Okay,
Yeah, I tend to have an issue with that too.
yeah, mic problems. Okay, I think we're good to go. I'm sharing my screen. Yeah, I think we're good. Maybe to start, you can just give me a bit of a recap on how the week went. Maybe do you feel like you made any improvements mechanically, in-game stuff, anything that's frustrating you? I know last week we kind of talked about, or like mechanically we're working on a wide variety of stuff, like peaking angles, like we walked through Icebox. Yeah, kind of just give me an update, I guess, from
Yeah,
how
I've
it
been
went.
trying to keep movement in mind, like front of mind. Also, I don't know why I look extremely blurry on the stream, but it'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, movement has
Try
been
deciding.
my biggest thing. Just trying to keep it in mind. And from our notes last week, I think it was like A and D holding. I've actually been trying to hold less because of what we talked about with the
Peeker's
Peeker's
advantage.
It's I've been trying to keep that in the back of my mind, and yeah, mostly focusing on movement. But it's still hard for me to know if I'm doing it correctly, like quote unquote correctly, and then also if I'm using it in the not necessarily the best way. I don't know if there even is a best way, but like up to standard of what we've been talking about with our coaching sessions. So I probably should be checking in a bit more with you when I have those doubts, but I keep forgetting. Like after the game ends, I'm like, okay, on to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't remember until we're discussing it. So game wise though, it's been, I feel like it's been improving, at least in terms of wins as far like this week compared to last week, because last week I feel like I lost like everything, and then this week we've been having a little more maybe luck on our side. But also feeling pretty good about personal progress in the meantime.
Okay, that's good. How has the like the initial warm up thing that you do at the start of your day? Do you feel like you're progressing in that? Does it feel more comfortable, I guess?
I think it does feel more comfortable to the point where like sometimes I'll veer off and start doing something else. Like I think you made a comment about it where I'm like testing different guns or like trying to do different things in the warm up, and then I don't know if you saw my more recent ones, but like trying to experiment with stuff in the custom games and stuff like that. So maybe not the best approach to it without any guidance, but yeah, feeling good about the general warm-up routine, I guess, to be able to do that.
That's good. That's good. I guess from my point of view, I want to kind of walk through this game. I know last session we strictly only looked at gun duels. I want to take a bit more of a holistic look at this one, keeping like the focus of the review on mechanics for sure, but just taking a look at our gameplay as well. Because if we are progressing in the mechanics department, it's important to look at the other things on smaller decision-making stuff. So we won't stress it too much for sure, but just wanted to make sure we touch on it this time. So I'm not, letting you go in blind every single game. So yeah, with that said, the game we're picking today, just based on our recent performance, this fracture game we did pretty well on, and I think it would be hopefully a good thing to look at on maybe what we're doing well in terms of gun duels and maybe what we could still improve on. And it's also a good game just because we aren't getting smurfed on. I was looking through your tracker, and a couple of those stomps were unfortunately playing against smurfs.
Yeah.
And that that is just the nature of it. So that's something to keep in mind maybe for you, is like if you feel like you're just getting completely stomped, it could very well just be someone that doesn't belong in that rank. And like I said, unfortunately, that's just a pretty common thing in this game. A lot of people will smurf, especially in the lower ranks, and yeah, it's not a very pleasant experience. So
yeah, or even like if there's a smurf on my team, I don't know if you saw that VOD, but I was like, I don't feel good because I feel like I'm not like actually participating or like not doing my best because we have a hard carry. But yeah, either way, not very fun.
Yeah, I mean, probably like 30 to 40% of your games, maybe a little bit lower, is going to be in that threshold. So yeah, but this game here didn't really seem like there were any smurfs in it. So yeah, let's just kind of take a look here. Let me see if I'm loaded in the game. Okay, I am. Okay, so deadlock here, is that just because the Reyna was picked?
Yeah.
Okay, I know last time you also played deadlock here, so let's see here.
Yeah, my general rule of thumb is to try to go for Reyna, but if someone else wants her, then I'll just take deadlock.
Gotcha. Oh, I also just enabled share chat. Forgot about that.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see here. This guy just peeked off the start, really? That's crazy. Okay. Let's see. Attack's always going to be a bit funky on this map.
Rotate.
Okay, so we'll rotate one back here.
Nice game.
Okay, let's take a look at this fight here. Supreme looks good. Looks like we're like transitioning into that fight here well. And I do see that you're stressing the movement here.
Nice game. Fake.
And something to note here is specifically for this fight, we do have a couple of blue bars. Doing movement with pistols are a little bit hard in my experience because you're kind of like trying to mix and match one bullet in between. My quick recommendation for pistols is, I know we've touched on dead zoning a little bit, but I personally don't stress it too much. To kind of give the brief introduction again, dead zoning is like when you're going back on your strafe. Like if I'm strafing to the right, I cut back to the left and shoot a bullet in between the directional change. So what we saw in your pistols here, you're kind of trying to do that, but like we're mistiming it, so the bullets go everywhere. Typically, you can train this. Like if you want to drill this in the range, we can. I personally don't think it's actually that valuable to learn, but I'd rather you peek out, stop, shoot, peek out, stop, shoot, or like make sure you're intentionally stopping and shooting and then strafing again instead of trying to time your shot in between the strafes, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's something to keep in mind, but I do like that you're trying to move. It's just that is something that is a common trend that happens when people try to move too much, is they'll shoot in like too early and then their bullets are inaccurate. But the pre-aim here, that's good. It's good that you're noticing it. That's something that we just have to slow down a little bit on. Maybe instead of getting 3 shots off there, maybe just being okay with getting 2 shots off. Specifically with the pistols, even at the higher ranks, you'll see people kind of just peek out and then kind of just crouch and shoot their classic. They don't spam click. They'll like pace their shots a little bit to try to make it accurate. But like really not overcomplicating the whole movement aspect of pistol fights. So it's a bit inintuitive, I think, or unintuitive, because pistols, you should be pretty mobile in theory, but in practice you just see a lot of people just crouch shoot. So something to think about as well. But the pre-aim, again, like I said, looks good. Obviously you're running back here because we failed the B hit, we got smoked off, so we're falling back to A. Quickly going for the trade. Actually, you can see your Omen do it. He peeks out and just crouches, and your Waylay is shooting crouched. Omen just shoots crouched. It's just a way to simplify the fights a little bit. Okay, so let's keep going here. I'm gonna go 2x a little bit. So it looks like we're following the homies into main. Okay. Oh, reload's good. Somehow unintentionally dodged the flash. You're a genius. Okay, let's take a look at this fight again. Okay, so we come back up. Okay. You are pre-aiming in the general vicinity correctly. I can see like you're putting a crosshair here. I guess this just comes from learning the angles, but if we can get at the head height, that would be ideal. It's a bit tough. You have the adjustment onto this guy. And again, we're kind of shooting as we're moving a little bit. My question to you here is, are you trying to get the kill, or are you prioritizing shooting at the guy, or are you prioritizing your life here?
Actually, I was just trying to figure out if they had jumped down or not yet.
Gotcha. So when you peeked out, you're more so looking for info.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Let's take a look at the refight. So a little nade throw here.
Can you block off this?
Good wall. It's good wall still. Okay, these peaks are like looking really good actually. You're going like one by one. I can see you're very conscious of slicing the pie here. What do you think about like the distance on your strafes? Do you think they're a good distance, like you're strafing wide enough? Do you think they're a little bit tight? Like, what do you feel about them?
I think I don't even take into account distance, because sometimes I'm not sure if I should be doing smaller ones or wider ones. I don't think that's something I've been practicing at all. Okay,
no, that's fine. Maybe just looking at it in hindsight, what does your intuition tell you? Like in this fight here, would it be better to kind of go wide, or would it be better to do it tight?
Well, here I don't think that they were focusing on me at all, so maybe I could have just gone wide.
Okay. Do you recall, I guess, kind of like general principles on when to go shorter strafes versus wider strafes?
No.
Okay, no, that's okay. If you recall a little bit, it has a little bit to do with your shoulder exposing. So when we were in Icebox, we were in Maze. So the closer you are to the box, right, let's just exaggerate. I'm gonna put my face into the box. If I take like a really tight strafe here, like they could still see my shoulder at this point. So I might as well just go wide if I'm going to be close. But in this case, we actually were a little bit further away from the box, maybe roughly around here. So you can actually get away with doing tight strafes the entire time. That's like not too bad. You could obviously just pre-aim and go wide as well, and it's still not bad. But you have a bit more forgiveness just to go tight one by one if you wanted to slice it and not expose. So that is viable here for sure, generally, if you do have information on where a player is, then you don't have to do the tight peaks, because tight peaks are good to be thorough and clear angles that they could be in, like off angles and stuff. But in this case, like you mentioned, the enemy was focused on your team and we can hear those gunshots, which typically just means that you can just speed up the swing. Like let's say like I hear the gunshots, I was just pre-aiming wide swing here instead of taking the time to go like this.
Yeah.
But that's good. It's good. We had good execution on the peaks there. That's definitely a huge improvement. That guy is just sprinting. Okay, let's take a look at this sequence again. So we get this kill. It's fairly important to reload on the classic, unfortunately. This guy just runs out of bullets so quick, it feels like. So maybe after the kill you reload. I see after you get the kill, you tuck back in to get your bearings a little bit. You hear them continue shooting, and then you like slowly peek out again. Did you peek out just because you heard the shots, or I guess what do you think?
I think it was just on sound because I didn't see a second person there, but they were still shooting. So.
Okay. I think that makes sense. A skill to develop, which I won't have you focus on now, but I'll just introduce it, is whenever there's like kill feed, I've trained myself to where if there's color on this edge of the screen, my eyes dart here instead, so that I can get the info on the minimap.
Okay.
You don't have to digest that now, but if you did hear them shooting, it's a good rule of thumb to look at the minimap first so that you can kind of get a representation on where they're going to be. But yeah, it's not something that you have to super focus on now. If you wanted to do it properly, that's what you would do here. You hear the shots, you check minimap, you figure out where he is based on minimap, and you can pre-aim your crosshair accordingly.
Okay.
On this fight with this guy here, he's just strafing like really wide. I don't really mind this one too much. It's just a little bit crazy here. You would simply just win this by having more bullets. I don't think it's very easy to get this kill because he's not even actually shooting when he's standing still either. He's just shooting when he's moving. So that's just an awkward fight all around. I'm pretty happy with that round though. I could see your crosshair placement has gotten more intentional. It's a lot better, I would say. So we're definitely headed in the right direction just from looking at pistol. And obviously this is one of your games that you did really well on in terms of your gun duels, so good too. Same thing happens. They fought B, we went back to A. Let's see here. Oh, wow. This guy just randomly used those rockets. Wow, and he got a kill. Shout out Omen, my goat. Okay, so it looks like we're just chilling because of the smoke. We throw the grab net into drop. Actually landed, nice. Yeah, you actually hit that guy. Goes back to crosshair placement, I think. It's very hard to visualize this angle, even for me, just because like the smoke's in your face here. But if you, I don't know how that drawing is still there. If you were aware, I guess, on because you did throw the nade drop well, you would also just want your crosshair to be here. You probably die anyways, by the way.
Yeah.
But really training that crosshair placement would be good. Okay, let's keep going though. Wow, we actually won that round. Go team, go. Okay, so contacting A here. Crosshair placement's a little bit floaty. Are you looking at minimap or what do you remember at all?
I think I'm preparing in case this opens. I think I have a tendency to do that, but
the door. Okay.
yeah, maybe I don't have to.
Oh, no, that's fine. If you were prepared for the door open, do you think your crosshairs may be too far from the edge here? What do you think?
Yeah, my thinking is that while I'm walking that way, I don't know if I should flick toward the door or flick toward the other opening, so I just kind of go in the middle.
Okay, when you say the other opening, are you saying here?
Yeah.
Okay. That is advanced technique that you'll see oppers do back in CSGO, because they would just aim in the middle and trust their flick on the sides. Generally the recommendation for newer players, but really just anyone using a rifle, is to gamble one of the sides and then try to hit the flick on the other. So let's just say like you really were worried about the door, your crosshair would probably be here. And the other thing to keep in mind too is that your teammates are actually wider, like they are further up than you. So if there was a player on this angle here, they would get shot first. So you don't necessarily that is true too for the door, to be fair, but that can hopefully help guide your crosshair placement when you're like entering a bomb site. Okay, so going for the little flickaroo here. Looks like we scale here.
There.
Okay.
There.
Your crosshair placement is like steadily at head height though. It's not as low as it was before, which is good.
Yay.
Let's see. I believe he's top site if I'm not tripping. I think he's up here. Yeah, he is. Okay. Yeah. Just to, so you know the detail. Teho rockets come from his position. So you'll see. Ooh, go back. You can see just for that one frame there, his little rockets coming out here. So if you did see that, you'd be like, oh, top site, and kind of scale like that. So we didn't catch that information, which is fine. It was also, I feel like if I was in the game, it's a little bit harder to see. But yeah, we scale out here. Obviously, they start fighting top site. When you hear those gunshots, you would probably check mini-map if you were training the mini-map awareness. But I can see you're kind of just spamming the top. Okay, so let's see. Bomb plants. Looks like there's one drop. I'm kind of just peeking out here. So there's a lot going on here. I can tell just from my crosshair placement. Typically, you can kind of tell what a player is thinking just by looking at their crosshair. So running through this here, you know, we're kind of coming back. It's like, oh, is there a guy on top of this box? Maybe in this corner somehow. Okay, the bomb is coming in. I hear a guy drop. Let's come back out. Okay, let's talk. Oh, there could be a guy spawn. Like, there's a lot going on here.
Yeah.
This is actually good though. This is probably just comes from pattern recognition in the sense that where enemies come from tends to be from very similar spots. So your intuition that a player could be in this corner is good. That's a very common spot. Obviously you hear a player drop, so that's obviously a good one. And then just like a player sands area, typically they're going to be top rafters like this, or they're going to be at the bottom like this. And then obviously they could be spawn. So what that might look like in terms of crosshair placement is, you know, when you're coming out here, you would look here and then you don't see anything for a while. When you come back out, you would have to make the decision, are they going to be bottom or the top from the sands area? So you kind of have to make that read. We're not really making that read right now because that crosshair kind of just floats on the floor a little bit. But if you're trying to be really dialed in, you would snap your angle, you snap your crosshair to the next angle. In this case, I'm just choosing the floor. Then I would peek out. And if I don't see anything, I would then peek out again on the bottom side, or I would choose to peek spawn. So it might look something like this. And then as I kind of come back, I'm kind of going back like that. So that's a really important skill to develop. Like, number one, anticipating where they could be, and number two, pre-aiming appropriately. And that's probably the biggest thing for you to work on for this week. It's just taking it one by one. It's okay if you it takes you time to do this. As long as you're being very intentional about it, I promise it'll make a huge difference in your games.
Okay, yeah.
Something that I think a lot of new players also end up doing is they fall into this idea of having their crosshair in ready position at all times. So I wanted to introduce it here just in case it happens for you. But basically, instead of pre-aiming and peeking, what it looks like instead is they're going to just trace the edge the whole time and kind of walk out like this. There are scenarios where this is good, where you're kind of just walking out with the gap. The basic scenario for it is basically if you aren't making any reads, but you're just moving around the map. So like, let's say I'm pushing through a main here. I'm not making any reads. I'm not really peeking anything right now, but my crosshair is just gone on the gap the whole time. So if you do see that, like, let's say you did know for a fact someone was sands, but then you peeked it like this, then that's probably a sign that you're implementing the wrong technique. But if, for example, like if I was reviewing your VOD and I saw you do this, then I'd be like, oh, that's probably just lazy clearing, but at least the crosshair placement's good. Like you're tracing the angle. But I would have rather have seen a pre-aim and just commit to the clear, because at least this way you don't actually have to move your mouse when you're aiming.
Mhm.
So pre-aiming is a pretty big skill to learn at the start. A different issue that might occur for players is they pre-aim too much, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Just for now, if you're anticipating a fight somewhere, try to pre-aim before you go into that fight, and it should help a lot.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see the rounds here. The Sky Flash comes from spawn. Okay, we wall. Good wall. Very good wall. Good sensors. Okay, so we don't actually have any threats from these areas here, so that's something to be cautious of. Thankfully, no one peeks out on us yet. I guess they're all dropped. Throw a net again. Well, there's a flanker. Oh, that was... Yeah, he just died. Okay. Ah, good flash. Okay.
One enemy remaining.
Okay. We didn't get the fights here, but I can definitely see why we're getting. We have slightly higher win rate with the deadlock. Util in the post plant obviously is delaying a lot. Like they had such a difficult time retaking there. So, util usage looks good. You're being very intentional with it.
Get out of my way.
Sorry, let me speed this up. So we're kind of just watching our teammates. Is that something that you notice yourself doing on Reyna, or is it more so on a deadlock?
I think on this one specifically, that Reyna was making a lot of calls in the first couple of rounds, so I was kind of waiting for. I think I was just kind of waiting for another plan, but.
Okay, gotcha. That's fair. That's fair.
Reloading.
Same thing. Smoke happens. I'm assuming we run B this time. Oh wow, Armin smokes ourselves off. Okay. This is very scary.
Yeah.
Okay, so they end up going through here. Ooh, I see the pre-aim there. Okay. Door opened. Can't see this fight. Man, these smokes are so annoying. Okay. The smokes definitely slow us down a lot. How do we approach this? A drill that I might have you do is picking a smoke agent in the range. I'll kind of just run through it now. But intentionally smoking yourself off so you can pre-aim properly, and then peeking out and take a fight. So I like to do this a lot to help visualize your peaks, or even just playing around the edge of your smoke. Let's just say in this example here, we get smoked out main. If I'm entering on this bomb site, I want to peek bottom site. I'm going to pre-aim and peek out like this. If I'm coming out drop, I'm going to pre-aim and peek out like this. And just getting those reps in could be really useful. In your case, I believe almost all of the games we've seen so far, whenever there's a smoke in front of you, we're very reluctant to go forward.
Yeah.
Which makes a lot of sense. You can't see anything. And same as if you get blinded, you're probably going to run away. But if you're able to kind of train this skill a little bit to where you're in a smoke and you kind of still have your bearings a little bit, you won't be as scared to kind of run out. And the main thing you need to know with smokes is actually they're not that dangerous. It's just you don't get to see anything, so you have to like go into the peak like ready. But it's not like you get hurt by smoke, so they're not that scary as you might think. But obviously we're a bit reluctant on it. This player is spotted here. We try to go for some bullets. I think this is all fine. Oh yeah, and then we get mollied. Okay, so let me speed it up a little bit. Okay, so it looks like we come back out this way. Oh. Okay. I think this is a dead zone. Yeah, okay, so really nice flick, like good reaction. What you'll notice here is that you'll get blue bars in a second here.
Yeah.
So I'm actually gonna slow this down a little bit. If we were thinking proper technique here, I would rather you strafe to the side, move your crosshair onto the target, stop, and then shoot, like in that order. But I actually don't have a problem with seeing insta shots like this, because sometimes you get lucky and you get the kill. If we were stressing,
I just
yeah, it's a nice shot. If you were really good with dead zones and you're able to time it properly, you would actually be able to get an accurate shot in there off of your dead zone. So you might I don't know, let's say you're strafing here, you might be able to get a quick shot off. I can't even do it because my dead zone sucks, but there is a way for you to get an accurate shot off. maybe more importantly is if you were stressing technique, like if this was a death match or something, what it might look like is, okay, target appears on screen. Oh, I'm scared. I'm going to move and flick at the same time, but not shoot. So it's going to look like whoop. And then ideally, when you stop moving, your crosshair gets moved into the target's face by your strafe. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that is what proper technique would look like. But honestly, going for the quick shot, the first bullet or the first burst you go for doesn't have to be proper technique. I would expect the second one to be proper technique, like you make sure you have no blue bars on the second. So let's keep going though. So we get the kill here. Looks like there's one site. Okay, so let's take a look at the crosshair placement again. So this player kills your teammates. If we were training minimap awareness, this would be a good timer for you to see it because this guy got killed on the minimap. But we are going into site just based off noise, presumably, and just clearing angles one by one here. So if we were clearing angles one by one here, our crosshair placement should be a little bit better and more intentional on those peaks. So notice how when you kind of open up to these angles here, you're kind of just running into the angles like this. If we look at your movement, it's on the bottom right here. We are holding W the entire time. You see that?
Yeah.
Holding W the whole time. So if we were to do this properly, we would make sure you get to this corner here, slow down, take a pause, pre-aim, swing, pre-aim, swing. And if he's top sight and we get caught off guard, we would then strafe again as we're moving. So it might look like pre-aim, swing, pre-aim, swing. Oh, he's up here. I'm not gonna just stand here and take the flick. I'm going to strafe and go for the flick at the same time.
Okay.
That's a good rule of thumb is if you get caught off guard, you just move again to give you time to shoot. If you're really, really confident in your micros, because I know you train your hard bots and your hard bots are actually pretty good, then you might like peek out and then like react to the shot immediately. I think that's something that you can do. You will see pros do it. Technically, it's bad technique, but their aim is so good that they can make up that adjustment and just rush the shot rather than, moving to stay alive. My preference when I'm doing it in game is I will go for those insta flicks if my crosshair is off, if it's like a horizontal flick. So like, let's say I'm peeking out here and he ends up being on this left side. I'm not gonna actually strafe again for this fight. I'm just gonna peek out and then like hit the quick flick and then I'll tuck back in. Because to me, I'm a lot more confident on my horizontal flicks than my verticals. So that might be one way you can do it too. Distance also matters a lot as well. So let's say like I'm going out here and there's a smoke here and I'm peeking out. I might pre-aim upper, but then there's gonna be a guy close right here. Then I might just hit the insta flick because he's so close to me. So that's also something to consider. But again, I just want to reemphasize what the proper technique would be. And more importantly, as we get around this corner here, you just want to make sure you pause so that you can have that crosshair placement.
Yeah. It's good to see in the context because when I'm like in this moment, I'm so panicked of where to look. So
it's go, go, go. Yeah. I mean, really nice shots though. So we get the kill here. And I do like that you actually took a strafe after your first burst on that jet. So jet caught you off guard and then you took your first shot, whatever, it's okay if you rush it. But the second shots following were a bit better. So I do like to see that you're implementing your strafes there. If I'm being a stickler, I would say after your second burst, you would probably strafe again versus the jet. Because notice how you strafed on the first burst, but not the second or the third. So the second and third were both done standing still. You get the kill though, so great. But yeah, just on the importance of technique, that is something to consider there. Dopeye dies here, I do die there. Okay, this guy just caught me off guard. So it looks like our crosshair placement is in the right spot, like we ended up adjusting it over. It is a little bit low. Looks like we're using this line as the cue. I guess I can't even be mad at you because normally that is what you would use, the lines on the map. Unfortunately, he just peeks closer, I guess. But yeah, this guy just walks out. Notice actually how slow he comes around the corner. That's the dangers of doing a shift peek. You see that? Very easy to react to. So just be very careful shift peeking around corners. I don't think I've seen it out of you in the past few games, but just more of a
at the beginning I was doing it a lot more.
Yeah. Okay. So looks like we drop here. Okay, nice kills. Kind of hard to figure out what to do here. So I'm gonna touch on util very briefly. Typically as deadlock, since she's your flex pick at the moment, when you're executing a bomb site, I'm on the wrong agent. You're gonna really be thinking about two abilities, which is going to be your gravnet or your wall. Okay, so very simply put, if you can get your wall on one of those choke points where the defenders rotate from. So the question I'll ask you first is, what are the choke points they rotate from? Like maybe you can help ping them on the map for me.
Where they rotate from?
Yeah, so like I guess where do you think the enemies would be, but more simply?
Yeah, so in that door on the right.
Okay, so this one?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is one.
And then either up top or you said sands.
Okay, so up top this?
Yeah.
Okay, and then potentially here. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's right. Okay, so as an attacker, when you're playing deadlock, if you have the opportunity and you're close enough to throw your wall on where you think the enemies might be, that's all you would do here. So in this case, spawn would be the closest, so I'd probably do spawn. But you can very easily just jump through at sands. I think it's impossible for you to get into tower, but that's kind of the thought process you might go here. So you might peek out like you did here, see nothing, then try to get your wall really quickly before you drop into sight, so that you don't have to worry about this guy running out on you while you're fighting the Phoenix. As for your gravnet, just to kind of explore this a little bit, I like to think of the gravnet as like a very traditional nade. So if you know someone is there, you just throw it at them. I know that sounds very straightforward, but that's literally how I think about it. I do believe that the gravnet is very OP in the sense that it gets upper and lower. Yep. So if you are going to execute A, you can just throw your gravnet up top, and it will get the top and the bottom. That's true for other maps as well. So on bind, if you recall, there's that tube on B site. If you throw it on the top, it will get the middle as well.
That's good to know.
Yeah, very broken ability, by the way. Especially now it's your signature, it recharges in the round. It's a little too good. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind. But yeah, those are the two thought processes. So here, as you're rotating in, you can throw one spawn. We're coming back out here on the Phoenix. So we actually didn't catch the Tracer. So I'm going to point that out really quickly here. You can see the Tracers kind of pop out as he's shooting. Let me back up a little bit. These little line things here.
Oh yeah.
They don't actually show up that, like, they're not super accurate, like server side tracers and stuff like that. So you don't want to take it like super to heart, especially if you're shooting your own gun. A lot of people will like shoot their gun, and you can see like my gun has like that little blue tracer, and then they'll go in the review and be like, well, my bullet went into their face but didn't get the kill. The tracer is client-sided in this case. So it's more of a visual thing here, but the visual cue just tells you that he's in this corner.
Okay.
Which could be useful. So get the kill.
Ultimate ready.
If we did want to use the wall, we would use it here. We are kind of stun locked in this position.
Deadlock wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
get
then
the
they
wall
said
down.
not like that.
Not like that. You can wall off the whole side.
The wall was good though, I think.
Destroyed.
Okay, nice, good reposition. I actually have no idea where this guy is from. Okay, I was about to say I heard the flash, but I had no idea. I see. We barely saw him on mini map. That's okay. We're in a weird spot here. I actually don't mind it.
Destroyed.
Yeah, that's okay. Kind of just caught off guard by this guy. That's okay.
In a drop.
Okay. Looks like Arena's low-key popping off.
Back in flash.
Okay. Grab net. Good. These blinds are so annoying. Okay. Looks like everyone's kind of just dead. Okay, that's good. Just want to see if we get a fight this round.
I don't remember if I do or not.
Okay. We're running into spawn here. Looks like you might get this fight. Yeah, we do.
Enemy remaining.
Okay. You actually only got one blue bar in this. So that's actually pretty good. You're syncing your movement with these shots pretty well. In terms of simplification, again, I do think maybe we don't have to move as much, or you would move for longer. So when you're new to the game, it's very good to take big boy steps, and where like you take a shot and then you go really wide to shoot again, and kind of just take it in this cadence. What we're kind of doing now is kind of like going micro steps. It is still good because you get more bullets off, but for the sake of technique, just exaggerating your strafes is the better way to learn. Then, you know, kind of like when you're learning an instrument, you start with the natural cadence that's very slow that you can do like 100% of the time, and then you can slowly speed it up until where you kind of start bursting like this. It'll also help in terms of getting your crosshair adjusted back up, because when you kind of take those shots quickly like this, it's very hard to actually aim in between those shots because you're only giving yourself like a quarter of a second. So instead of like, you know, doing that, we could just strafe shoot, and kind of take a more big boy steps. I like to say big boy steps because I think of like one person stepping over, like when you're doing a lunge, like you're actually taking like a really wide step. So that's how I think about it in game here.
Enemy remaining.
But good kill. I like to see that you're actually moving forward and hunting for the fight. So that's very good. I don't think we recognize I was the last player, but okay, let's keep going. Okay, so this guy's just dogging. Okay. Okay, that's a flash. Little birdie.
Reloading.
Oh, the peek actually out was good. If our omen wasn't here, the way you kind of re-cleared that and put your crosshair, this is actually like a really good crosshair placement. So, let's see, it looks like we're gonna cancel. Yeah, mechanically we look. I could definitely tell we're making improvements, so that's very good.
Nice.
And we're going under here. It's actually, unironically, this is like a very high level of play for you to go under here. For the sake of simplicity, I would probably just urge you to go with the team. Like one brain cell, just go with the team.
Okay.
But actually going under here is probably the more correct play.
Doing a thing.
So
Wait,
yeah, especially because
why?
you don't have flank protection. Basically, if you are spotted on one side of the map with a lot of players, so we were spotted drop early, they are likely going to then push the other side of the map at a higher level lobby to take space. So their read is that we're all drop side, let's go push for space, and then like look for flanks potentially. So us coming back to here means that in their head, they can kind of group all of you guys on the top side of the map. But you going under here then lets you challenge this re-clear on the A side. So it is a high level reposition from you, but it also forces you to take a 1v1, which is probably a good thing, to be honest. But for the sake of like learning trading and being with the team, you do probably want to be with the team. But yeah, this is like a Radiant reposition here, to be honest. Like anyone below Radiant probably just goes with the team there, and it works out more oftentimes than not. But that is the reposition here you would do to counter the repush there. So yeah.
I don't even remember what my thinking was for this.
It could have just been subconscious, like you might have felt like, oh, we're all grouped here, let's go here, and you know, it works out. So okay, so we are kind of just holding here. Looks like they actually don't flank. I don't know what's going on. They all spawn.
Slowing them down.
Oh, there's that guy.
Yeah.
Wait, did he come from?
Slowing them down.
Yeah, so that's actually that is actually what ended up happening. That's crazy. If you trusted your intuition and cleared it fully, that would have been good. What I was gonna say is, typically when you're clearing out flanks, like let's say you are the flank watcher here, instead of kind of like checking your back here, when you're kind of you're putting yourself into a timing. So it actually makes a lot of sense when you're the flank player to actually peek out to give yourself that time. So like once you've cleared this, now you know it's going to take a couple of seconds for them to walk up if they're around this corner. So that gives you time to turn around again. I don't know if that made any sense, but
No.
basically like full clearing your flank is good.
Okay.
Maybe we'll go into another part of the map so it's a bit more obvious. Let's say I was holding here and I'm worried about flank. Instead of just like staring at this and then coming back to peek this, I would just take the slight extra time to go here so that I can clear like the walk up and maybe this area. So I know that for certain they can't be there for the next couple of seconds.
Okay.
Whereas like right here, we can actually just use the mini map here. So right now there's fog of war, which means that they like uncertainty is there. They could be here and we don't know. But as soon as you peek out, you're just like, okay, it's clear for a little bit. And the timer it takes, let's say like there's a player around this corner, for them to walk up from this corner to this corner is going to take a couple of seconds. So as soon as I peeked out, see nothing, I know I'm like good on my flank for a couple of seconds until I have to check it again.
Okay.
Like refreshing that internal timer is pretty important for stuff
Yeah.
for flank specifically. So if you were in that flank position to clear it out B main, you could do that.
Okay. I think as soon as I heard gunfire, I just turned around though and started going back.
Yeah. Yeah, and maybe if you were closer to the bomb site, that could be good here. But unfortunately, the path to go back to the site probably takes you about, I don't know, like maybe 10 seconds to get back there. So it is going to take a bit of time. But let's actually take a look at the fight. That's probably the more important piece here. So, okay. What do you think? What do you see?
He caught me off guard because I already told myself that I was turning around to go back, but since I saw him there, I was like, oh, I should take this, and then I died.
Okay.
So
what do you think about the gunplay specific, I guess?
Maybe I didn't anticipate him moving forward because he didn't know I was there, so I honestly could have taken my time here.
Okay.
So I was a little behind him on those shots.
Okay. What do you think about how quickly you're shooting?
I think it's panic.
Okay. So what would like it look better if let's just say like we're I don't know, ice in our veins, cold-blooded. What would the technique look like?
I don't know. I think I should have just been more patient here, but
Okay,
since I knew that or since he caught me off guard and I was like internally switching between my past plan and my future plan, I didn't know what to do. So that's why.
No, that's for sure. Mechanics is one of those things that ideally happens subconsciously, like it's autopilot. At the stage you're in now, it will likely not be autopilot. To be honest, even when you work with like or you see like an immortal player or something, and the mechanics are kind of off, you have to then get them to make it not autopilot because they're doing some errors. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, for you right now, all of our gunfights should be very conscious and intentional, which means your mental stack is going to be filled, and all of your decision making in everywhere else is going to look like, you know, not good. But that should be the case here. So let's just say like you were to load up a game and all you were thinking about was having good, clean technique. You might be a bit more patient here. What I want you to understand, I guess, is what you're aiming for. So when this player appears on your screen here and you take that first shot, that's okay if you miss. What I want to happen after that is you take a quarter of a second or so to see how that target is moving as you're strafing, to like, that's like your downtime to aim again before you take your next shot. So you shoot, strafe, you see him moving to the right. I don't even know how you would move, but like let's say you go here and then you see him strafing this way, and then you would intercept. But we need to be more intentional, number one, with our bullets, like when we shoot, and number two, more intentional with your strafes, like how wide we're strafing and stuff like that. And it feels very alien because I'm gonna be honest, even if you make it intentional, your performance will not go up, because you will be lagging behind. Like you're going to be thinking something, and then whatever is going to happen on your screens, it's already a little bit too late. Like let's say like he actually shapes back to the left, you're going to be late. So we kind of just have to make it intentional and be okay with it being slow, and then at some point translate it into our subconscious so that it becomes automatic.
That makes sense.
Kind of like if yeah, so that makes sense. One quick thing I want to mention in terms of aiming technique. This is what we call linear clicking. So I'm gonna go down a little bit of a rabbit hole. Let's just go to like floating heads 400%. Okay, I like this scenario here. Basically, linear clicking is targets move in a straight line, ideally horizontal for Valorant, just like how target strafe horizontally. And let's just say this target is moving, this yellow line target, I'm just gonna draw one here, is moving from left to right. In this case, our crosshair would actually not flick behind the target, on the target. Like we're actually not aiming for behind or on, we're actually trying to get in front of it to intercept it when it gets into our crosshair.
Okay.
So if I slow this run down a little bit, you'll see he's trying to land in front of the target. You saw that one there. This one's moving to the right. He's landed a little bit short here, but ideally if he's going for this one, he would land somewhere here. Okay, so he's a little bit off, so he goes for the micro. This one's moving to the right, this one's moving to the left. So ideally he lands somewhere in this line here. Let's see if he does. Okay, so a little off. This one he actually did a good one. And this one he has to do a micro. So his technique isn't as clean as it could be, but oh yeah, these are good. So these last like 4 or so. Less wide flicks here, so they're closer. So all 3, well, I think this one's moving to the left, but this one's moving to the right, this one's moving to the right. So he's gonna land slightly in front of that target here. Boop. And he's just like waiting for it to come into his crosshair to click. That's concept of just understanding intercepting your crosshair onto the target is a very important one, because a lot of people, myself included, when I started Valorant, or not Valorant, but just shooter games on mouse and keyboard, I thought that good aim meant that my crosshair had to be on the target at all times.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of tracking, and it's also unrealistic for targets that have very erratic movements. So instead, it's better to lead your crosshair sometimes. Let's say like you saw this Tejo going from left to right, and you actually were trying to kill the target. You would probably just put your crosshair here and wait until he runs into you.
Yeah.
And that's actually exactly what you do when you angle hold. If you think about it, there's just a wall in between you guys. So let's say like you're holding, oh shit, like you're holding this angle here, he couldn't come from here. You're just like intercepting that, like if he's strafing like this. So that as a concept, I think is just useful to know, just in general. But yeah, I just wanted to share that. Let's keep going though. Do you have any questions so far?
No.
Okay.
No, this makes sense.
The main thing I would stress right now for mechanics that's coming up here is slowing down to actually have good pre-aim, making sure you're clearing the angles one by one. And then the other thing is doing big boy steps, big boy strafes. Let's see here.
Spike carrier down. Spike down, B.
I just want to see more fights.
Throw
Did we have a good one here? Oh, he's in the corner. Okay, that's okay. I don't expect you to clear your corners, not at this stage. This guy's opping us. Yeah, I also don't expect you to be able to kill an opper at this stage. So we'll just ignore those deaths for now. It would be good to revisit them at some point, but we'll ignore them for now. Same op death type of thing. Let's see. Yeah, fuck this op. Okay, that's why that thing's called an elo cannon. If you did want to climb the ranks pretty quickly, you would just buy an op, but we're not going to do that. Okay. Is this also an op death? Oh, okay. We made it past the little op. If you did want to avoid the op fight, you could use util. So the grab net obviously is very broken, so you could just throw it here, and then as it's landing, you go towards cover. So in this case, you throw it and you go this way. That's a pretty common start. So if I'm playing Raze, sometimes I'll need that. But ooh, our crosshair placement's actually pretty good here. Like you're transitioning close here. That was nice. Okay.
I've got your trail.
Saw one spawn there. Just says foot.
Hitting the brake.
Okay, and then again, if we were talking about your wall here, they could come from this area, so you would just pull it out and eat that thing over here.
Hold them.
Okay, I'm down for the ult as well.
I don't think I got it though.
You
I
got
did.
one. Okay. Let's see this fights. Okay, there's the wall.
Deployed.
Think you're dying from heaven? Yeah, this is all a scam. Okay. That is an awareness thing. We won't touch on the awareness piece too much right now. That's not our focus, so let's just keep going. Looks like we actually pop off more in defense. Like all of our kills are in defense. Okay, so let's see here.
Listening.
Okay, look heaven's good. Yeah, look at that crosshair placement. Hell yeah. I do think we blue barred for a second though. Yeah, first bullet was a blue bar. That's okay. You did get the second bullet on the kill there, but if we were being really intentional with it, you would just make sure you stop before you shoot.
Yeah.
Target down.
Very minimal. Like the timing on it is like so small. Okay, crosshair placement was good here. Oh, the peak was actually good too, and we're doing big boy strafes. We still actually get the kill. But yeah, we got the big boy strafes here. That's good. Peak was actually also really good. Yeah, this was a good fight. This was a good fight. We have a couple of blue bars where we're shooting maybe a bit early, but we're getting like the big things down. Pre-aiming and big boy strafes. Like those are the big ones here. So if we can like sync up our stop with our shooting and like have that all be, I guess, gold bars or not blue bars, that would be a perfect fight. So yeah, that was good. That was good. And I also see that you're moving your crosshair up as well. Our vertical aiming has gotten better compared to the earlier in the week as well, so that's good. Instead of just like aiming at the body there. Yeah, that's good.
One enemy.
We're definitely on the right track with our Gundles. Just a bit more refining, and then making all of these habits subconscious for like I would say 80% of our fights. And then we can move on to actually util stuff and decision making stuff. So this fight here, not as clean as a Jet in the case that we kind of like go for those quick shots again. I think you are right though, intuitively, in understanding that this is a fight that you just use more bullets on. This is where you would potentially just go for a spray. Instead of going for those like burst, in like quick cadences with the small steps, because like we're kind of going like this. You probably would just burst and then kind of just commit to a spray. So we aren't incorporating sprays yet into your gun duels. I think that's okay. I think ultimately it kind of just depends on what you think will be, I guess, better for you long term. A lot of people recommend just 2-bullet bursting all the way up to, say, a diamond or even ascendant. Some people say plat, some people say gold. I'm a bit more in the camp that I do think that spraying not only is easier, but maybe more effective sometimes.
Yeah.
There's like a clarification to make that effectiveness isn't the same as I'm like losing the word, but like I guess efficient. Like a lot of people try to do things efficiently instead of effectively. And I think that, or like maybe idealistically or what is optimized, whatever. But you know my thoughts on spraying. I think it's just a good simplification. So at some point,
for this one specifically, like I missed the area that he was in, so he was ahead of where I thought he would be. So so I wouldn't spray because I would be in the completely wrong area. But once I get there, and that tends to happen more often than not, and I'm not sure how to correct it after that point. Because I feel like I would be fine with committing to the spray, but it's that first one. If I'm not aimed properly, then I just ditch it completely.
That makes a ton of sense. So I guess to kind of make sure my understanding is correct, your first bullet was here, but he ended up going here. So instead of transferring your spray over, you're saying you'd rather reset and then kind of go again.
Yeah, because that's kind of how we've been practicing, right? We just dedicate that one spot to the spray, but I haven't been practicing moving it. So
that does make a lot of sense. That is technically the more ideal way to do it as well. Just like go again and kind of make sure you're just doing a spray down. Pros obviously can transfer their spray horizontally, and they would probably do that in this case. But given that that's not in your skill set here, that actually makes a ton of sense. Okay, cool. Okay, so 10 kill defense half or attack half. That's pretty good. Let's take a look at defense. Looks like I believe we get like 16 more kills here. Okay, so starting with the little wall. Yeet. Okay. Get the orb, okay. I do like free orbs. Can't see this. Good grab net. Let's see if we take the fight. The smoke is just like in the way. Okay. So it's kind of somewhat of a thing that happened on Bind. The grab net is good. Now, I don't expect you to do this, but just to kind of get into the thought process a little bit. If you did know there was a player here, and we're kind of going by looking for fights, maybe you grab that and just run at this guy. I don't expect that to number one for you to actually land this jump, because honestly this jump's like kind of funky to hit sometimes, but the classic right click is pretty accurate when you're jumping, so this is actually like not a bad play to make if you hit the grab net. But given that it's so awkward, I don't expect you to do it. I just wanted to translate that thought process. Like, let's say they were coming out main instead, or sands, then you would grab net and then also take the fight, instead of just grab netting and then maybe like running towards site. So yeah, let's see how the round plays out. Guess they go back to B. Oh shit, this guy died. I didn't even see the fight. Okay, so blue bars.
Yeah, that was lucky.
At least your crosshair is in the right place, like you're actually anticipating the threat, which is good. In terms of the peeking technique, I think looking back at it, you can kind of see it, we're diagonal peeking here. So if we look at the bottom right, it's going to be Shift, S, and A. You can see all three are pressed here. So the way you would do this in the future instead is Shift back if you want to get angle advantage, like this. Stop, preem, and then kind of strafe back out like this.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
So just taking that slight pause, I think will be very beneficial in your gameplay. But yeah, nice. See,
Nice and slow now.
okay, looks like they are going to be. Front over here.
Spike planted.
Yeet.
Throwing net.
Okay, there's one behind you soon. I think, yeah, you thought that was your teammate. That's okay, that's okay. Just to quickly check, do you happen to know if you have this thing activated?
I think, on my other account, I think I do.
Okay. Yeah, that's just an awareness thing, that's okay. I'm not super focused on awareness at the moment. Let's take actually a look at the Brimstone fight, because we did get some shots off here. So, okay, he just swings out tower. A couple of blue bars on these fights, or these shots here. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, that guy is just moving like a lunatic, so it is what it is. I don't think many people would get that kill. Okay, so we wall round 2 here, so I don't expect too much. Look for the fight. Okay, dodge the flash. Oh my god, our waylay is going in. So
No,
if we were waylay, notice how he ran at them, that we could do something like that. We're not waylay, obviously, but
Spike down A.
that is a fun ability. Your Omen actually goes forward, though. You can see the mentality these players have. They're just looking for fights. Like, this Omen TP's forward. If we could make this jump, we would also try to get in there, but this jump is kind of hard. So, I like their mentality. That's exactly what you should be looking for at this rank. I guess we weren't expecting this guy to walk up on the smoke.
Yeah.
A good rule of thumb when you're holding smokes is just to pick one of the edges. So in this case here, you would just pick here or here. Holding in the middle is like kind of a no-go. But in this case, I think obviously you kind of just hold the right side because like they can't walk through this wall. But yeah, I think we're fine here. Let's take a look at a proper gun round. We have a rifle. Okay, so wall B. Wait, we don't have a rifle. What the hell did we buy? Why'd you buy the Spectre?
I think, well, I don't really understand like eco thinking, I guess. So my rule of thumb is to just like follow what my teammates are doing, or just keep mid next round around 4,000. That's like my 2 brain cells for this.
Okay.
So sometimes I change my mind last second, and it's probably not for the best.
Okay. Your teammates did buy rifles here, so I guess if you followed the other rule of thumb, it would have worked out well. I'll give you the quick rundown on eco. It's very straightforward. Let me just let's write this down a little bit. Okay, economy, eco. Let's just do eco. Okay, maybe it's not as straightforward, but at least for the first like 3 rounds, it's pretty much solved. So if you win pistol rounds, that means Second rounds, you'll buy like Spectre, Bulldog, something like that. And ideally, you keep this gun going into third round if you lived. If you died, you have to save all your money. And try to get a pistol from your teammate or play behind them to pick up their gun. Okay, if you lose pistol round, save round 2. You could buy utility, but typically you don't buy any like guns or anything like that. And then round 3, you buy rifle. So Vandal, Phantom, whatever. And after that, if you have 2,000, like less than 3,000 money credits, you probably can buy light shields and some gun. Making sure that you have at least, you said 4,000. I think the number is like 3,400. Because you can buy light armor and Vandal. Yeah, 2,900. Yeah, so that's 3,300. So as long as you have 3,300 minimum next round, you can buy light shield and Vandal. That's a good for gun rounds. So
Okay.
3,300 minimum for gun round. You can save for more if you want utility, but that's pretty much the economy game in this. Win pistol, you buy Spectre Bulldog second round. You try not to die round 2 so that you can keep that gun going into third round. And then if you lose pistol, you save round 2, keeping your classic, buying your full util if you want to so you can use it, probably saving it so you can use it for the gun round. And then gun round, you buy a rifle. So in this case, we lost pistol. Round 2 was over, and then we would fully buy a rifle here.
Okay.
But yeah, the economy game is really not that important. Basically, is when you buy a rifle, you just buy a rifle. As long as your teammates are buying, of course.
Yeah, I think I got thrown off by that waylay only buying a ghost. So I was like, oh,
yeah.
maybe I should go in between.
Yeah, they didn't manage their economy well.
Okay.
So that's a good rule of thumb too. I'm glad you pointed that out. If 3 players can buy a rifle, so these 2 have rifles, and then you can also afford one, you would also buy one. So
Okay.
as long as 3 players or more can buy rifles, it's good. It's a good buy.
Okay.
Let's see the actual round here.
Sound sensor up.
Okay, sensor, wall, bulldog. The wall is good though. And you would peek out, that's good. What do you think? You did a tight peek here versus a wide peek?
What do I think I did?
Why? Sorry.
Oh, I just wasn't sure where they were because of that jet smoke thing.
Gotcha. Okay. The tight peek is actually good here, so you don't overexpose. And you almost got the insta headshot.
No escape.
Okay, throw a little grab net. Okay, kind of juggling for info here. We're doing a good job of fighting these guys off. Wow. This fight actually doesn't convert that well most of the time. But I mean, we hit a really nice shot here. And you're doing your strafe stare. You can see the second burst isn't like we rushed that shot as we're strafing. You can see like both of them were like inaccurate.
Mm-hmm.
Boop. But the third one is back on track. So kind of just slowing that down a little bit more. Taking a big bore strafe would make everything a bit cleaner. But we're making improvements for sure. I think a good checkpoint, is that the right word, benchmark for yourself, is to have 80% of your gunfights in a game not have blue bars.
Okay.
That is a pretty tall standard, but I think it's a good number to shoot for your games. So let me try to write that down. Let's see, mechanics. Let me get rid of these. Mechanics. Standard for your games, 80% of your gunfights are without blue bars. You can also apply this for your standard and deathmatch as well.
Okay, good.
Okay, so let's take a look at a couple more gunfights. Because we do get a lot more gunfights in our defense. Okay, so yeah, Waylay is just dashing forward. These flashes are so annoying. Okay, peeking out here. Okay, Crosshair placement is actually like in decent spots here. Like you're like putting it on the edge of the wall, so that's good. The initial flick might have been a little bit too quick, but we won't talk about that too much here. Just bursting on this guy. He's not looking at us, so you're standing still here. But in terms of technique, I would probably encourage you still to strafe even if he's not looking at you, just to make sure you have that natural cadence. Okay, let's see, refight here.
Spike planted.
Wow, they actually planted. Okay, pushing this guy. Clearing the corner this time, nice. It's pretty tough round to win. I think they have Brimble. Yeah, there it is. Ah, nice try. Yeah, that's just unfortunate. I crosshair dipped a little bit from head height. Like, we actually had the horizontal flick correctly. It's just we didn't have that vertical aim. So that vertical aim is gonna happen. It's very normal for it to dip, especially for newer players. I actually don't know the best way to train that. Like I mentioned in deathmatch to add that drill to band-aid fix a little bit, but keeping like your crosshair at head height consistently is like in itself a skill. It's like not as intuitive as it thinks or as people would think. And even if I'm turning around here, it just naturally dips. I mean, that's not a good representation, but like this ground is flat. I'm head height all of this, then I flick behind me, and then it's just like always going to be down, so I have to come back up. So that's just normal, I guess. You just have kind of have to be a bit more aware of it, I think, and be okay with recorrecting back to height. But the horizontal flick is good there. Let's see, we switch it up to go A. Okay, there's Jet. We should be able to. Okay, so we are kind of doing the thing where we run away, which is not the best. I do like the wall, but I would like you to wall and go forward. Go ahead.
I thought that I maybe mistimed it and like trapped my omen somehow, so I thought going back to help would be more beneficial here, but I don't know what I was thinking actually.
I know, I got you. I can see that thought process, especially if you're trying to fight the same angle as him. Like this fight is more in line with the same angle that he's at.
Yeah.
So like it does make sense like intuitively. I guess like with the logic of just looking for fights, you do kind of want to minimize the downtime, so that takes precedence, I guess.
Okay.
But I do see the logic you're saying for sure. It's like now we're on the same line as him. Like this is a bit more, I guess, comfortable. Oh, nice. That was actually good movement. Crosshair placement was pretty good too. We almost got the insta-kill. Yeah, that was good. Unfortunately, we don't get the insta-kill, but that looked really good. Maybe I should quickly clarify. We aren't actually AD holding this corner. Like this. Like if you wanted to angle hold, you could do it like this. What you're opting for is going for the angle hold, taking a quick shot and then tucking, or taking a quick shot and strafing back out. That is natural to do when you have cover next to you. The AD thing is like more so when you're in the open here. So like if you wanted to take a step out, let's say you weren't scared of their flashes for whatever reason, maybe they don't have a flash, you could stand in the open and kind of do this.
Okay.
But in this case, they did have flashes, so playing next to cover I think was the better decision. But I just want to quickly mention that because I know we talked about angle holding last time. Okay, so we popped the ulti. Looks like they're B main still. Yeah, they're not out. Wow. Yep. Okay, let's look at this fight here. Okay, so we are kind of doing that thing that I was talking about. Like we are tracing the angle on the edge the whole time, instead of like picking the angle to swing. Man, that's such a hard thing to get across and like when to do what. Like doing this versus getting to this point here and then like peeking with the pre-aim. Like, trace, stop, pre-aim, peek, and then trace the whole time. When do you do one over the other? In my video, like I made a video on this exact topic, so I'll send that to you after this. But The TLDR, I guess, is if you think there's a possibility they can swing out as you're pushing forward, then you would do the tracing. But if you think they might just be holding, so in this case, if you think he's just standing still on this angle here, you would then pre-aim and just go for that. That's like the TLDR, but there's probably a better guideline, like a framework to think about it. That's not really coming to mind. Yeah, that's a tough one. Even at the highest level, people do it incorrectly still. But I do
So-
think. Go ahead.
Well, I was wondering, what did I do in this example, or in this?
We did the tracing one like this.
Okay.
And ideally, we would have done the peak like this. But if there was a player close to you like this and they could swing out like this, and you knew that, then you would actually do the tracing. But
Okay.
because he's further, you would actually go for the pre-aim and then swing. And it's because this guy is far enough away that it's not a threat for him to swing into you as you're scaling here.
Mm-hmm.
So like you can just pre-aim, take that fight. But when this player is around the corner here and he can take the fight on you, there's like a constant threat that he could potentially swing you at any time. So by putting your crosshair on the edge, you're more aware of it. Just like as if you're angle holding for this guy here, you're putting your crosshair away from the wall so you can be ready for it.
Yeah.
So I guess distance does play a big part into it too, but it's not the best guideline. Yeah, I'll send you the video. It's a complex topic. Even the best players mess it up sometimes, but you can get pretty far in this game if you are peeking to always do your peek with the pre-aim. Like that will get you a lot of results, even if it's technically incorrect in some moments.
Okay.
So just really valuing the pre-aim, because like here, for example, let's just like throw away the first fight and just say whatever. When you come back into cover here, your peek should have good pre-aim.
Yeah.
Which is, it's not like it's the worst. We just didn't account for him coming to the left. Like we pre-aimed here. If we had it up here,
Mm-hmm.
that just comes from prediction. And then coming back into the fight the third time, we didn't actually adjust the pre-aim that well back to head height. You moved it horizontally. So when we tuck back in here, we did move it horizontally, but it's just not at appropriate head height for the new angle. You can see we're back to the chest. So
Yeah.
that obviously will take time, but just highlighting it, your burst does end up going, like the recoil does go up to hit the headshot, but that is not how we want to be finishing the fight. Oh, we actually fucked this guy up.
30 seconds
Wow.
left.
That's what we call dead zoning. So what I kind of mentioned earlier on the pistol, you actually killed that guy as you're strafing back into cover. So
30 seconds left.
I'm not actually a huge, like I said earlier, I'm not a huge fan of training it, but you're doing it so often that it might make sense for you to train it just so it becomes subconscious. So,
Okay.
yeah, let me write some mechanics here. So we have blue bars, big boy strafes, so we can be more intentional, and then pre-aiming. Slowing down the game so we can pre-aim properly, and then last but not least, adding in some dead zone training. Okay, so let's hop into the game and talk about dead zone training.
Okay.
Our mechanics are looking better. We're on the right track, that's for certain. We just have to make a couple of tweaks on what we're doing in the game to make it better. Let's start with dead zoning because I think it's the most complex. Yeah, we'll start there. There's a ton of different drills that people recommend. Oh, your mic is spiking, I think. Unless that's
Yeah, I think I accidentally tapped the wire.
Gotcha. It's I don't know if the gain messed up because I can hear some fuzzing right now
Oh, no.
or buzzing. Perfect. Yeah, that fixed it. Okay, can you see my game?
Hopefully that's better.
No, yeah, that's perfect. You fixed it. Okay, so dead zoning. Oh man, there's so many different drills for this one, but I'll just introduce something very simple. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna utilize these, like, you can really pick anything, but just for the sake of this, we'll just use these 2 dots as references. And you want to start wide, maybe even bigger. So you want to make sure your strafes are really wide. And I'm just gonna do it with these 2 dots. So every time my crosshair gets around this dot, I'm gonna strafe to the other side. And as I'm changing direction, I'm gonna shoot. So I'm gonna shoot 1, 2, and you're just gonna do this back and forth. This is how you kind of train dead zoning. You want to try to make sure your bullets are like not going sporadic. So this I would say is like the level 1 version of the drill. If you want, you can do it in wider cadences. So you could go like this. I messed that one up. And this is kind of where you would go. So we start here with the dead zoning. You're not moving your mouse at all. You're just focusing on timing your shot, on your directional change, and feeling what that. It's all field based, to be honest. Like learning dead zoning is all field based, and you can sneak in a shot. And then once you kind of speed up, you're gonna, do smaller cadences like this. And then when you're really good, you're going to also incorporate your mouse and then do it in a tighter cadence like this. And this is all dead zoning. You can't do it with bursting, by the way. You only have time for 1 shot in between your directional change. Technically with the Phantom, I think you can get 2 bullets sometimes. Yeah, so like that. But more often times than not, you're only gonna get 1 accurate shot. So
Okay.
I wouldn't bother actually trying to optimize for the second bullet. It's a little bit crazy. You just try to practice your dead zoning with 1 bullet. So to recap, level 1, wide cadence. Level 2, speed it up a little bit closer. And then level 3, you just pick 1 point and actually move your mouse to track that same spot. You're trying to go there. The problem is we're actually shooting in game at this cadence right now. But you don't want to do it with 1 bullet at this cadence. You want to do 2 bullets and kind of take the strafes out. So I actually don't want you to get too attached to doing 1 taps like this, because I think that's where it introduces bad habits. I would rather you just do 2 bullets, stop, and then kind of go like that. If that makes sense.
Okay.
But yeah, maybe you can hop in the range and we'll just see what it looks like from your end and make any tweaks if necessary.
Okay.
Let's see.
This one? Is it sharing my screen with you?
Yes.
Okay.
Perfection. Let me pop out that. Okay. Take a look.
My ultimate's ready.
Okay.
So let's just start with level 1.
So that's these 2?
You can do it on any cadence, really. Maybe treat those 2 dots as level 2,
Okay.
and you can just do level 1 on the like really wide strafes.
Oops.
Yeah. So notice how you're actually stopping when you shoot here.
Wait, so what do you want me to do?
Yeah, this is so difficult to explain. So you should, at any point in time, you should always be having your finger on either A or D.
Okay.
So let's do it without the shot for now. Just like strafe to the right and then strafe to the left. And keep doing that. Yeah. Okay. So keep that cadence going. And as you direction change, just try to time your bullet in between that change. It's okay. It's okay if you mess up. Just shoot 1 time.
I think I'm only pressing it once, but I guess it's hitting twice.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, like it just holds a little bit longer. You could switch your gun technically. You could do sheriff or something that only fires 1 bullet.
Oops.
Oh yeah, I think that was it. Oh no, they're blue bars technically. I'm looking at it. I'm lucky. Okay. Keep going. The analogy that...
blue.
No, you got a couple of golds in there. That one was blue. So the analogy that was used to me used in a video by Hoojin was like the swing analogy. I think I might have tried to explain this a little bit earlier, but I'm bad at explaining this. But like like on a swing set with kids,
Yeah, this
you're kind of
analogy.
going back and forth. Yeah, like on that directional change, you have like a little brief pause right before you kind of come back forward. That's kind of what it is for this. Like there is like a little slight pause as you're directional changing. You're trying to sneak in your bullet right there. You can see like even if you don't shoot, you can kind of see that little pause there.
Yeah. I don't know how to time it though.
It's hard. It's hard. It becomes automatic at some point. Like I said, it's all feel based. If you're trying to apply logic to it, you might want to like, as your finger is pressing the other key, you time your shot as your other finger presses the key. If that makes sense. It's like you could try to sync your fingers, I guess. But the more you think about it, honestly, the more it fucks up. So it's just
Yeah.
like, just feel it out. Just feel it out. I think it's all feel based for this. Turnip in chat said when learning dead zone timing was a rhythm thing, like da doom, direction shot, direction shoot, direction shoot.
Maybe I'm learning the wrong rhythm.
No, just feel it out. Whatever rhythm works for you.
I feel like I'm only getting the orange when I'm like actually stopped though. Like
I see.
not pressing the other key.
Yeah, the other key. Yeah. The timing, it's finicky. Like, the margin of error on it is very small, which is why I don't really think it's practical in real gunfights, unless you're pre-firing an angle. But just knowing the timing is good. Like, that one was good. You could also just do it in one direction first, maybe. Like, instead of switching back and forth, try to get it down for just one directional change. So, like, say, going right to left. Or left to right, whatever makes sense to you.
Oops.
It's okay. That's
I don't
okay.
know. I feel like the more I'm thinking about it, the worse I'm getting.
No, for sure, for sure. Stuff like this, in my opinion, it helps to have like a visual representation that you just try to copy it with your subconscious. If you want, I can kind of run through it again and then you can just try to copy it.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Let me turn on audio. Oh, I got kicked out of the range. The good thing is the timing is the same for every gun. Yeah, that is true. You want the video? I'll send the video from Hooj after. I think the actual concept itself, like learning more about the concept won't help. I think it really just takes time. Turnip said it took me 3 days spamming each side to get it. So it might just be one of those time investments.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a slow learner as well, so.
It's understandable. Okay, so I think you're using dot crosshair. Okay, so got a couple of blue bars there, but okay, I got a couple of blue bars, but give it a go.
So you're not stopping at all.
No.
Okay. Let's see. Oh no.
You started off really good. You were 3 for 3 at the start.
Yeah. Here, let me reset.
That's okay. Someone in chat is mentioning the keyboard making a difference. What keyboard do you have? It's I forget. It might be a HyperX. It might just. I'm gonna ask someone else that question.
I don't know. What does the difference make?
Oh, Mike is
Sorry.
doing
Sorry.
something.
That was my
It's
bad.
okay. Someone said it's a key cron. Ah man, how do I explain the different keyboard? Just know that it reacts sooner. Like when the time that you press the key and let go of the other key with like more expensive keyboards, it just reacts faster on your screen. So your timing might be like slightly delayed compared to mine, basically. But I don't know if it's that important to think about. I think everyone's feel is a little bit different anyways.
That first one I got it, but then as soon as I shoot, I forget what I'm looking for.
Yeah, yeah. Let me do it again, and we'll just do the
Yeah.
power of visual subconscious. I'll do it for like 15 seconds, and then you'll do it for 15 seconds, and then we'll switch on and off. Okay, I'm fucking up. Okay.
Okay. And it's okay that I'm still doing the big boy ones.
Yes.
Okay. Just
Okay.
I'm still stopping in between. Hold on.
That's your habit, yeah. That's okay. Turnup is suggesting it to do one movement at a time. So maybe that would be better, like to get the timing on one strafe. And doing it closer to the wall. I don't know if closer to the wall would help, but we could try it. Yeah, I did mention that, Peter. I think this is all feel-based at this point. It's like trying to learn a new combo in a fighting game. It's not gonna like register. This is like muscle memory.
Wow.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
I don't think I
It's
can
okay.
do it.
No, it's okay. The more you get the reps in, the better. Let's kind of outline some drills maybe. And this is something you can practice throughout this week. Like I said, I don't put too much stress in learning this. I think it's a nice thing to learn, but like maybe just spend like a couple of minutes every day just tackling it. But it's not the most important thing to work on. Like the most
Yeah.
important thing to work on is big boy strafes and pre-aiming the fight before. I'm getting ahead of myself. So I'll come back to the smoke thing and peeking out. But let's kind of just break down the strafes of the dead zoning one by one. So I do
Okay.
think it could be beneficial to kind of just do it in one direction first. So and maybe getting closer to the wall will help. I'm not sure, but let's just say you do one direction at a time. You stop here, you go back again, and then you kind of just train this direction. And then like I don't know. After you get bored out of your mind and you start like this one starts working, you'll do the opposite. So you stop here and then you'll go the opposite, stop, go again. And then this way you kind of give yourself some time to prep going into it.
Okay.
And then I guess the next step after that would just be combining the two. And Turnup was suggesting backing up as you get better. I'm not sure if it makes too much of a difference. I guess it just helps visually. But yeah, maybe just take that. Do one direction at a time. Stopping, going again. Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like if I'm doing it in game, it is just based off of, well, partly luck, maybe majority luck, and then like a little bit of feel of okay.
Yeah.
But for
It is
drill,
all
maybe
feel-based.
it's difficult to transfer for practice.
For sure. 100%. And then the smoke thing I wanted to mention. I guess for this, it doesn't really matter what smoke agent you pick. For the sake of this, I'm just going to pick Clove. Respond the bots. I did some variation of this drill for different players for different reasons, but for your case here, you're just going to smoke and then get into it and then peek out of it, and you want to pick a bot. So maybe we do it with eliminate 50, so there's only one bot. Okay, perfect. So let's see. We're in the smoke. We see that bot. We are going to pre-aim and then peek out and try to get that kill. I suck. Do it again. Okay, I'm terrible. But yeah, okay, so here the bot's here. So I'll peek into the smoke. Okay, he's outside. Boom, I'll go again. He's here. And then you can kind of go back and forth like that. Just make sure to re-smoke yourself. Brim smokes last the longest. You could do brim instead maybe. But that's the drill. There are other variations I've used. I'll just share it here. So instead of being inside the smoke, you peek on the edge of the smoke and kind of work your way out with tight peeks. Kind of doing that. That's not what we're focusing on. In your case here, we're just trying to not have the visual clutter of smoke in your face kind of stop you from swinging out. So here we see the target here. You just go for that. Okay, he's on this side. Go for that. Spawn the inside, so whatever. Grab, okay, he's there. And then, yeah, you go like that. But yeah, maybe Brimstone would be better because his smokes are, I believe, like 18 or 20 seconds or something. And you can just do that with Eliminate 50. Yeah, so, and this one, honestly, visually, it's just a lot harder to see, so. Like this one really gets in your screen. Yeah, wow, it actually hides your gun when you're here. That's weird. Okay, but I'm getting sidetracked. So, let me recap a little bit. So, when you play death matches and in your game, try to uphold the 80% of your gunfights without blue bars. In the range, and slowing down so you can actually pre-aim properly. And then in the range, just adding some dead zone training, maybe starting with one side each. And then smoking yourself off and eliminate 50 to get used to peeking out of smokes. Yeah, okay, cool. I think those are the biggest things to touch on this week.
Okay.
Any, I guess, questions, comments?
Nope,
Concerns?
sounds good to me.
Okay, cool. We're looking good. We're upward trajectory. So I guess be proud of yourself for that. If you want to look at the stats are also trending upwards in terms of KD. So 0.88 KD at the start. We are now pushing higher, 0.92. It would have been a little bit better, but we had some little tough games here. But on the recent matches here, you can see 0.95 KD for the deadlock and then 1.04 on the Reyna. So we are trending upwards in terms of KD. I don't really like to look at KD in general, but at the early stages of the game, it's pretty important that you're winning more gun duels. In terms of ACS, we're also trending upwards at 180 versus 190. If you're not familiar with what ACS is, it just stands for average combat score,
Okay.
which basically is just damage dealt in the round. They calculate it in some other way, but basically your damage is going up as well.
Okay,
So
good.
that's good. So yeah, we're shooting better. That's important. Keep up the mechanics training. I know we're touching on a few more mechanics here, like dead zoning, trying to do big boy strafes, and stuff like that. But yeah, just keep focusing on the mechanics. We'll get into the util and decision making stuff, like maybe more specifically as we continue climbing. But for now, this is all to focus on.
Okay, good to know. So for the warm-ups for this week, what do you think should be my top priority?
The sequence, huh? Some type of variation with the big boy strafes. So I guess if we're doing the breach ult thingy again,
My ult's ready.
let me just go and do that really quickly. I think this is probably going to be the most important drill, but just making sure your strafes and stuff are quick enough. I think this is the best to get a natural cadence, so let's just do these two bots here. You can slow it down because I fucking suck. I need to slow it down. So kind of just taking your time here, making sure you're always moving as well. Don't actually stop. Try to only stop when you're ready to shoot, instead of strafing, stopping, shooting, strafing, stopping, shooting. It technically is a strafe, stop, shoot, but the transition's a lot more seamless.
Okay.
And it might look like I'm dead zoning, but I'm not. I'm actually stopping at the very end, but I'm shooting as soon as I let go of the key.
Okay.
And just getting these wide strafes down. You could start doing if you want to warm up, you could do it on the wall first. So something like
warm up
this.
for my warm up.
Yeah, like level 1 into level 2, you can ease into it. So start with the wall. You could also do it on the bot if you'd rather have that visual here. Let me go over here. Something like this.
Yeah.
If you prefer that visual, that could help. You could also do it and just get it into the center here.
Yeah,
And
I've
then
been
once
using
you-
this more than the wall and the range.
Gotcha. Yeah, so if you prefer this, just do this, and then, you know, once you feel a bit more warmed up with that, like, tempo, you can try to replicate that tempo over here. Because, like, this will obviously adds, like, the flicking element a little bit more. And if you can kind of get that down, I mean, you'll be a demon in the server, so. That's the most important to me, is, like, this burst cadence, but the optional is definitely training the dead zone. Just getting that timing down. Okay, cool. That's all for me.
Yeah, sounds good to me as well.
Alrighty. Well, throughout the week, you know, if you have any questions, comments, just hit me up. Like always, I'll be on the lookout to take a look at the warm-up and try to give feedback as best as I can. But, you know, if you have any specific questions or anything like that, that would be helpful as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
No, thank you as well. You have a good one.
You too.
Peace, peace.
Bye.
Bye. Let's see.
How do I leave? Okay. Okay. How are we feeling, chat? How's your day going? Oh yeah, I did want to. We do have some stuff that happened during the stream. Sorry, I don't pay too much attention to chat during these coaching sessions because I feel like most of my attention should be spent focusing and talking with Dopai. So I will say thank you to Shapo for subscribing for 3 months. Happy 3 months to us. Keep the grind. Thank you so much. And then also Brad Buck, thank you for resubscribing for 12 months at tier 2. Happy 13 months to us. Good gaming. And then AIM chose a lucky fortune, so we can do that before we... Or AIM redeemed a lucky fortune, I should say. But your color is green. And your fortune is in the Lego cam. Oops. And the dust and my phone. Oh my god, it's a mess. That's cyan. Oh, green. What are you talking about? That is like a spring green if I've ever seen one. It says, once the lighting focuses, a nap will sneak up on you. Embrace it. I'll write your name on it. And then I'll stick you in the orb with the rest of the... with the rest of them. Hello, Raiders. Welcome in. I would say, how is stream? Actually, I can still ask. How is stream today? I found AIM. I'm looking for... yeah, exclamation point drop to join the parachute. Probably won't be on for that much longer. Just wanted to catch up with chat afterward. I do have a work meeting in about 15 minutes, so... yeah. Here's that video on crosshair placement that I was trying to mention. Thank you, Dopai. So anyone else got any fun Monday plans? We'll look for someone else to raid as well. So if you're looking for content, don't worry, we got you. Valo grind before work. I know. It's usually pretty easy for me to swap my work schedule around to account for streaming and stuff like that in the evening. But today Okay, apparently I slept like 9 hours last night. Didn't even intend to. And then I felt like I had only slept like 6 hours. So after I worked for a few hours, I took a nap for like an hour and a half. And I'm still tired. I don't know what's going on today. What's the chair? It's just one I found on Amazon. The tag says HBADA. Only 9 hours, technically like 10 and a half, and I'm so tired. But at least it's better than getting less sleep, I think, which is my normal problem. So, too much sleep is actually a good problem. I thought it might have been a Herman Miller. Office chairs are so similar to me. I know, I can barely tell the difference. That's why I'm fine with buying a knockoff. But the old chair that I had was like a hand-me-down office chair that had gone through at least 20 years of life before I took it. Do you have a standing desk? I do not. I do not. Do you want to hear the fun story about it though? Is that a really popular standing desk company reached out to me and asked if I wanted to collab, and I thought it was spam, so I didn't even respond. Same thing happened with Marvel Rivals. They wanted to sponsor me, and I thought it was spam, so I ignored it. And then Marvel Rivals turned out to be a really popular game that would have worked out as a sponsorship, but whatever. It's fine. They don't need me anyway. But alas. Let's see who else is online. We can go say hi to someone else. Have you ever considered getting a manager or something to handle sponsorships? I've heard people do that. Yeah, but then I feel like it turns it into more of a business than like a hobby, which is what I would prefer to keep it as now, as because I do have a full-time job outside of it. And I don't like to mix the two too much right now. But you have to get a standing desk and tell people how it is better than a sitting desk all the time without people asking. Maybe in the next place that I move into, we'll get the double whammy of a standing desk and a walking pad. Let's see. Who's online? Readlock's online. We can go say hi. And you can get some more Valorant. Some more Valorant feed. Okay. Wish me luck with my meeting. With my Monday meeting. Hope you're having a good morning, evening, whatever it is, wherever you are. I hope you have a good one. And I'll see you on Wednesday for some more Cyberpunk. Also, I keep hitting my mic this stream. I'm sorry about that. Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay. Bye. 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 Bye.
Rewind to before I changed, started acting strange, had my life in my own hands. Meanwhile, I was wasting time, thinking things were fine, but you had other plans. Behind your weak disguise, all the worthless lies, I was wrong and now I know. Don't think that I won't try, this is not goodbye. pushed around, always lost, not found, but I didn't realize. Like a giant standing in my way, leading me astray. Now it's time for me to rise. I knew I had to find myself. Turns out I'm on my